Astro listeners to Star Lady Soul Reader Network. This is Medium Monk, and as usual, we have on the line our shining star of the zodiac. It's Star Lady. Hi, Star Lady.
Hello, Medium Monk.
And for those of you that have listened to us for a while, we all know by now Star Lady is Kim Marie, the managing director for our network. EAN does provide the finest materials to certified new evolutionary astrologers worldwide, and yet we attract as many people or more just looking for that next level of soul growth in their lives through our materials. So go to www.evolutionaryastrology.net, look for that course materials page. If you're interested in certification, there's also a certification page that outlines that process after you get your materials. And you can always call 1-605-348-5111 to schedule your session with Star Lady or Kim Marie, and Medium Monk will be happy to have a little conversation with you, navigating the website, or answer any questions about the EA course. All right, so here we go. It's full moon time, so it's kind of a lighter period, but there are some powerful aspects that you've discovered in the pre-call, and I'll turn it over to you, Star Lady. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's still active October, Medium Monk. I didn't mean to minimize anything. It's because of course it's got to be active because it's your solar return. So you've got a weekend of birthday parties planned, and we just wanted to I want to take time to acknowledge. Been wonderful for the last 20-some years being in relationship with you, and happy birthday, Star Lady. Well, thank you, Medium Monk. It's active because of these 4 planets that are turning direct. So from the time that Mercury went retrograde back on September 26th, 27th, to the end of September to October 6th, okay, so we had about 10 days there. Pluto went direct October 6th, but that 10-day time period from the end of September to the beginning of October, bless those little rebel souls born during that time period, because we had 7 planets retrograde, and I just lump Chiron in here for sake of conversation. And so from Jupiter out to Pluto plus Mercury, we had all those outer planets retrograde. And so we have been experiencing Pluto direct October 6th, Saturn direct October 10th, in the midst of the Sun, Mercury retrograde, Mars conjunction in Libra. Now, over this last weekend, we had Jupiter and Mercury both go direct together. And so as we move through this full moon, which I'll talk about, but setting this backdrop here, as we move through the rest of October and November and forward, we have a huge push of energy to move ourselves forward, to move forward collectively. And as I was thinking about this podcast, it was like, wow. So this month of October, whatever we've needed to throw off with our thought processes and opinions and attitudes with Mercury retrograde, and relationships too, by the way, Mercury retrograde in Libra. There can be relationships that have lasted their purpose in our lives, but as we've thrown off all kinds of old thoughts and attitudes, whatever information we need to know has been revealed to us. However it is that we are ready to go forward in our life, it's gelling. It's like a green light with these 4 planets direct. We're down to only 3 out of the 7 planets retrograde right now. And Chiron, Uranus, and Neptune. And they will be going direct over the next few months here. But this onslaught of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter, which are still traveling, close enough together in the skies with Mercury, Make your decisions, sign your papers, pre-call. I was giving Media Monk the list of my public classes as we move through the next couple of months. Okay, and now I know the dates and our to-do list for the fall. Thank you very much, honey. So it's like boom, boom. Okay, here we go. It's reminding me of a quote that I've said from Louise Hay for a good, I think almost 40 years. Everything I need to know is revealed to me. And everything I need and desire comes to me in my highest and best time-space sequence. I added a few words from Louise Hay's original quote. This is something I've, said day in, day out, year in, year out, or again, decades. It just popped into my consciousness with these 4 planets moving direct. And so I think it's a real good one for us to recognize right now as we're making our decisions of how we are choosing to walk our talk and live our life and participate in relationships. Mercury direct Libra. I'll repeat it for us one more time. Everything I need to know is revealed to me. And everything I need and desire comes to me in my highest and best time-space sequence. Love that quote. I had it plastered on my desk wall. It might still be, I have 2 desks. I have my work sort desk and I have my reading desk. So I think it's still downstairs in my old one. I love that quote. It just, if you're anxious, if you're angry, if you're fearful, if you've got, the distortions of negative thoughts and emotions going on, it's a very calming mantra for me. Giving Louise Hay credit here. But take it, run with it. Let it create peace in your world. So we're approaching the full moon of Aries, which will take place Wednesday, October 20th, the day before this recording. This will be the full moon of Aries at 27.5, Sun Libra, and Moon in Aries. And so for those few hours of the intensity of the full moon, and I'm going over to my calendar, it is going to be at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon Mountain Time. So as we go through the 20th and morning, afternoon hours, we've got a T-square on that full moon with Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto's freshly direct, 24.5 degrees Capricorn. It's barely starting to move a minute, space-time, every few days. And so it's just beginning to pick up some speed moving direct. But that T-square on that full moon, Moon in Aries, what about me? What about me? I'm going to give you the Libra mantra. I balance a diversity of relationships, Libra, with my own initiative, Aries. And this full moon is really about balancing that. But the T that comes from Pluto, halfway between Sun and Moon, it can be causing some tension. No, I want it my way. No, I want it my way. Capricorn wants to be in control. If you just follow me, if you just do as I say, we'll all be okay. No, I want it my way. No, I want it my way. Libra's that psychology of listening. There's still some listening that we need to be doing on the heels of Mercury direct at 10 degrees Libra. There's still some deeper understandings to come with Jupiter freshly direct at 22.5 degrees Aquarius. I pulled out my webinar from Jupiter and Aquarius, I don't even know, earlier this year, I think. And so I got some more mantras. This is going to be the mantra podcast. Here comes all my Sag energy. This is one that I just love, and this one comes from the teachings of Abraham from Esther Hicks, if you're familiar with them and her. It's where I first heard it. Beliefs are conditioned thoughts. Change your beliefs, change your thoughts, change your beliefs. So I'm going to repeat it. Beliefs, Jupiter, are conditioned thoughts. Mercury, Jupiter and Mercury direct. Change your thoughts, Mercury. Change your beliefs, Jupiter. Have your beliefs been changing through the course of this month as Mercury has popped in new ideas? One more. Albert Einstein. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is to not stop questioning. So when we say learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow, notice that's an Aquarian phrase. Is Uranus Aquarius in the 11th house is an archetype. It's our individuated unconsciousness. It contains everything from the past in all its detail, including past lives. Yesterday. It includes everything that we want to suppress or not deal with in the current moment. Saturn pushing things down. And it also includes the blueprints of the future, which come through in that repetitive emotion, or that repetitive sparks and ideas. So here's Saturn, freshly direct in Aquarius at about 7 degrees. Here's Jupiter, freshly direct at about 22 Aquarius. And so how are the past, suppressed present, and ideas for the future gelling together for you right now? So starting to get the theme of what we have going on, it is a decision-making time period. It is an action time period. We can have things gelling together one way or another on how we are going to walk our talk moving forward with our lives. Now, one of the other things that we have going on in the midst of this is October 17th, Sun made a last quarter square to Pluto, 24.5 degrees, Libra, Capricorn. And then, right after the full moon, Mars will make a last quarter square to Pluto, October 22nd, 24.5 degrees, Libra, Capricorn. So Sun and Mars are going to be in orb of their squares to Pluto longer than the few hours of the moon. That moon is a waxing square to Pluto in Aries, and it's how do I feel? What do I want? You know, moon in Aries, the emotional charge and frustrations, an outburst of, I've listened enough to so-and-so, I need you to hear me. Or I've done my best to get along with the group or to get along with someone else. Something's calling for me to honor me. Now, if we tend toward the Aries selfishness side of the equation, our selfishness could be blowing up in our face and we're forced to consider others Sun-Mars conjunction in Libra. The Sun-Mars last quarter squares to Pluto are the crises in consciousness or crises in what we believe. And that's going to be the stronger aspects going on past the full moon of Aries. How are we adjusting relationships in our world to have an equal giving and receiving? All you got to do is look collectively at Congress and how Democrats are trying to find their balance with how they're wanting to move forward with what's termed a human infrastructure bill. You know, I had the thought, the Democrats have just as much of their dysfunctions being exposed as the Republicans. I think there's one party that's a little more dysfunctional in regards to facts, but both parties, transiting Pluto, balsamic Pluto, are having their dysfunctions and their extremes exposed. We're all going through it on a personal level. You have all of the self-empowerment Pluto on an individual basis to choose your actions, Mars, Sun, through any perceived limitations in your world, Capricorn. You have the ability to chart a different course for yourself if this is where you're at right now. Right after Jupiter and Mercury went direct, Mars made a waning triangle to Jupiter in Aquarius. So Mars waning trine Jupiter can really give us some strong intuitive hits on how to move forward. If we are trying to push our way through with something that's perhaps not in our highest and best good, or perhaps not in harmony with those in our world, Mars trine Jupiter could be exploding things in our face to make it real obvious, Jupiter, Mercury direct, that, well, this isn't going to work no matter how hard I try to push it forward. Waning trine. What is it I am to understand here about the larger picture of what's going on in my world? By the way, I did do a free EA Zoom presentation. It's on their YouTube channel. The surrender and rebirth process of Saturn-Uranus. It was on the last quarter square. The three of them that are coming up, we're moving through with Saturn and Uranus this year, 21. You're welcome to go refer to that if you want to. We also, in addition to these planets moving direct into this Libra energy that we've been balancing in our world, with Sun, Mars moving so close together, they're making aspects, boom, boom. They're changing ingresses of signs, boom, boom. And that's what we're going to have going on next as we move forward the next couple of weeks. This year, Sun ingresses into Scorpio October 23rd, day before my birthday. The Scorpio mantra, I metamorphose myself with evolving self-reliance. I metamorphose myself. That's the Scorpio word, metamorphose. The caterpillar to the cocoon to the butterfly. Self-reliance, Taurus. And so this can be mantra for not only Sun and Scorpio, but Mars is going to go into Scorpio October 30th through December 13th. 6 weeks, a month and a half of Mars in Scorpio. So as these two planets are finishing up these last few days in Libra, what are the relationship themes going on in your world? Who are the relationship issues and situations that you're wanting to make sense with or heal with? How is it you are having to balance the giving and receiving in your relationship? If that's not addressed as Sun and Mars move into Scorpio, it's possible it may intensify some of the themes. It may be that it's a natural time period for the why in the road with any relationship scenario that's run its course. Obviously, it can involve personal, intimate relationships, Libra and Scorpio. But as I like to say with Libra, opposite Aries includes your relationship with yourself, square Cancer, family, square Capricorn, career and work. It's all of the above with relationships in your world that you've got to balance, Libra. And so there can be some choice points that come along here with Sun and Mars in Scorpio. At the very least, it will allow us, as we move through the end of October into November, to access some deep psychology and understanding the relationships in our world. We're in the second half of the zodiac, so we're all starting to see this little bit of focus on relationships. The Sun-Mars conjunction was back on October 8th at 15 Libra. So, if you look at their new moon or new phase cycle together, meeting in the skies, which comes once every 2 years, we have a real strong Libra theme here. And so use the depth of Scorpio to help you really understand anything that's going on in your relationship world that you have to negotiate through or come to peace with or make a decision with. And just like we could have a why in the road going on, it's also possible that we could be initiating some new relationships here with this energy in Libra, Scorpio. It's going to be unique to each of us as we are choosing to move forward. Mercury's going to make its third and final waning trine to Jupiter, November 1st, almost 23 degrees, Libra Aquarius. And Mercury is going to make its third and final last quarter square, joining Sun and Mars to Pluto, November 2nd, 24.5 Libra Capricorn. So Mercury's still going to continue to be giving us information on relationships as well. Oh, how are relationships going in your world? Media Monk, I have just been rattling on a roll. You so quietly listen.
You got your philosophy working, and, it was a great podcast, I would say. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty sacred time of the year. Like you say, the key thing is to understand the universe. It's very symmetrical. The first half, the first 6 signs of the zodiac are all about self, and the last 6 signs tend to be about society and relationship with others. So I think you delineated that at this juncture, halfway point, with the planets. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for doing all the research. Is there anything you wanted to bring up finally before I close?
Yeah, just because I'm going to say it in the podcast because, we kind of Mercury direct settled on some dates of our next series of public webinars as we head into fall and winter in this northern hemisphere. So
you want me to
mark
highlight
your
them for you?
if you want to. Sure.
Yeah. So the first one coming up will be, of course, a Venus retrograde at the end of the year here. So that's all about these relationships we continue to kind of harpy about. This is, where the rubber meets the road and how we grow. Monday, December 13th, mark the date on your calendar for Venus retrograde. Now, it really works out great if you're on the Astro newsletter list because you'll get reminders on how to register, get your registration link for the webinar. You register with the webinar service, and then, you get reminder emails directly from the webinar service. So I kind of hand it off to the webinar service to send out those reminder emails, but you get your registration link right from us as you enroll for this webinar. Monday, December 13th is Venus retrograde. Then early in January of 2022, we're going to do the 2022 forecast, which is something you always want to kind of get live, download it, have that webinar MP3 file to listen to throughout the year. That happens January 5th, 2022. Most of these now will be at 6 to 8 p.m. Mountain Time in the evenings to allow for everybody to join live. And then we also have a Nodal Axis ingress. So that will happen in Taurus-Scorpio, January. The date for that webinar class is January 17th. Monday, December 13th, January 5th of 22, and January 17th of 2022. There you go. So join us for one and for all, we hope.
And the Venus retrograde is going to be in Capricorn, 26 to 11 degrees Capricorn. So those are those degrees. All right. I think I'm kind of complete, Media Monk. And as we sign off, we're getting another little early winter October storm. Skies can't decide whether they're going to rain or give us big, fat snowflakes. We'll take any. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into the weather and the astro weather all at the same time. See you next new moon. Bye for now.